Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in today. We are on part 3 of the How I Create $1 Million Offers series. Today, we're really going to get into the nitty gritty. So, in part 1, we talked about why you need a story first before you even think about creating an offer, what that story actually means. We talked about the example of in this industry, you are supposed to be at the top of a ladder, helping people at the bottom of the ladder up that ladder. That's the entire business. That's the entire industry. This is how you can simplify things, how you can have something to come back to and lean on when things get confusing, and et cetera, et cetera. So this is also your competitive advantage. The ladder that you create is the story. And what is the story? It's what cool thing have you done for yourself or others that you now want to help others do as well. Part 2, we talked about how to find that story if it wasn't obvious. If part 1 didn't have your brain thinking of, oh yeah, this is exactly what my story is, then in part 2, we talked about how to find it. And remember, there was the immediate internal opportunities, and then there was the longer frame external opportunities, the things that were outside, the inside outside. Today, okay, we're going to assume you have a story. And now what do we do with that story? Okay, great. I know exactly the thing I'm going to go out into the market with in terms of this is what I did for people. Now I want to help you. But how do I monetize that? What exactly does that look like? And most importantly, how do I do it correctly? Now, what do I mean by correctly? There are a lot of people teaching how to create offers, and there's a lot of good advice out there. There's a lot of good books. There's a lot of different people you can learn from. But I am continually shocked that nobody is teaching you to ask this question before you even begin the offer creation process, which is, what do you want the offer to do for you? Again, let me say that one more time. What do you want the offer to do for you? Too many people are approaching the offer creation process by asking themselves the wrong questions like, what should I offer? Or what are other people offering? Or what is trending right now? Those are terrible questions to be asking without first asking yourself, what do you want the offer to do for you? Remember, your life as a business owner, I cannot stress this enough. If you hear nothing else from this entire series, please take away that the life you live as a business owner is and will be directly tied to the decisions you made about the offers that you have created. What we offer to the world is entirely in our control. Now, there are consequences for the decisions we make about offers. Certain offers can give us certain things, but can't give us other things. And don't worry, we're going to get very specific about this in today's episode. So there are consequences we must live because of the constraints of the offer we've created, but at no point can you realistically and truthfully blame someone else for the reality of your business, because you always have control over offers. And in this business specifically, now we might be having a different conversation if you're a massive manufacturing company and it takes millions of dollars to retool a factory. I guess technically you have a choice, but maybe the spreadsheet tells you don't, right? Your P&L says we don't have millions of dollars to retool this entire factory. In this space of coaching, consulting, offering online services, etc., it's all just talking and typing, as one of my very first mentors says. It's all just it's all just talking, which I'm having a hard time doing today, and typing, which is another way of saying it's really easy to come up with a new offer. In other words, and we're going to go through all the offers today, so you have a good picture of maybe you might be missing an offer right now in your business. Or maybe you thought a certain offer type was going to give you something and it turns out it's not giving you that thing. How do you fix that? But the point is, at any point, you can add offers, change offers. I've been doing this for 17 years. If you think I've been doing the same offer for all 17 years, you would be mistaken. Right? I'm adding and changing offers whenever the offer no longer suits me. Maybe I just don't want to do that anymore. So I make a new one. Now, I keep the same central story because that's what the business is based off of. That's the thing I've done for someone else. And then I create offers around it. Now, I may add new stories as I do cool things, right? Again, we talked about that in one of our episodes where we talked about once you get that first story, it's actually quite easy to get more, and you can create entire income streams where you have a series of offers based around any given story. But the point is, you are in control, okay? You have to understand this if you want to succeed in this business. You are in control of the offers. But here's what's really important and why you need to understand that the first question you have to ask yourself is, what do you want the offer to do? It's because if the offer does not give you what you want, I don't care how altruistic you are being about this business, even if the business's whole purpose, like Peaceful Profits, is to generate revenue so that we can donate it to good causes. That's the entire reason that Peaceful Profits exists. If the offer doesn't give you what you want, you will not keep selling it. You won't sell it well enough. You won't have the energy to sell it well. Even if you're hiring sales teams, you still have to keep sales teams' minds positive and pumped up and excited. So even if your plan is to get someone else to sell for you, you just won't have the energy, the enthusiasm, the passion, the focus, the desire. You simply will not have the inbuilt ability, the natural ability to do what it takes to actually make money. I think people vastly underestimate the energy cost of creating money from nothing. To go from nothing to generating revenue and profit requires a tremendous amount of energy. It doesn't necessarily mean it has to be hard. It can be fun. It can be exciting and driven by passion, but it takes energy sustained over a long period of time. So if you're not receiving what you want in return for that energy cost, right? You're putting a bunch into it and it's not giving you what you want. I promise you, please hear me when I say this. I've been doing this for 17 years. I have seen thousands and thousands of entrepreneurs in the space come and go. If you are not getting from it more than what you are putting into it, you will burn out. And when you burn out, it's like playing this game on extremely hard mode, where things that used to work don't work anymore, where you try another strategy and it still isn't working, when you start to lose that feeling of positivity you used to have. Let me just say it bluntly. You start hating your customers and clients. You start despising your team and being resentful. You're always looking for the negative instead of the positive. This is not the fault of the industry. This is not the fault of the economy. This is not the fault of business models. This is because you're burned out. And the reason you are burned out is because the offer you were running did not give you what you wanted. And you simply cannot keep sustaining the energy required without having a well to draw from. Now, when we say, what do you want? I genuinely mean, this is so important, and this is a real hard mindset thing to get over. But when I say, what do you want? What do you want? Not, again, not what should I want, not even what could I want, what's realistic, no. What do you want? How much money do you want to make? How long do you want to work? Who do you want to work with? What kind of work do you want to be doing? The longer that list is, and the more specific that list is, the more likely it will be that you will achieve more of those things. Okay, so this is really important, because sometimes when I tell people this, what they hear is, I can have everything. Now, look, I don't want to mess up anybody's mindset, and I'm not trying to be Scrooge or whatever, the Grinch. I've been in this industry, like I said, millions of times, 17 years. The majority of that time has been in personal development, meaning most of my clients have been in personal development. I love so much about personal development. There's so many great things about it, but there's something that's important to know and understand. Nobody has everything. Nobody. Even the people who are trying to tell you that they do, when they sell you this idea on how you can have everything, and that, even they lay down at night and say, I wish I had. Don't believe the hype. Trust me, I've seen behind the scenes. I've had these clients. I know their personal lives. I've spent hours and hours with them. Everybody has a list of things, and their entire list is never fully accomplished. Okay? Welcome to the human condition. So that's important to understand. That this list that we're making of what do you want the offer to do for you, literally, what do you want, it will probably never give you everything. That's why you need to do more than just your business, by the way, right? A lot of our lists that we have as human beings, a lot of that is like relationships, okay, or hobbies, or time for mental and emotional well-being, like taking care of yourself. I think sometimes people put too much on the business, like the business is going to be their spouse and their best friend and their mental health counselor and their self-improvement vehicle and their hobby and no, a business is a vehicle for creating wealth. That's what it is. Okay. So let's just be careful, but you still need to create an entire list of everything that you want. Don't start like trying to say, oh, I can't have this or I can't have it. No, the entire thing. Because what's going to happen is your business, best laid plans of mice and men, you're going to try your very best to do and if you have a longer list, there is a bigger opportunity that more of those things will be satisfied by your business. And you will have that injection of energy because you got a lot from the business. You got more than what you put into it. But also, the longer the list and the more clear the list is, the better decisions you can make and have a more realistic picture. I'll give you an example of how helpful this can be. A client comes to me, says, I'm really miserable in my business. I say, why? And they say, I don't know. That's a problem. Because most people are smart enough that once they know what's wrong, they can pretty easily fix it. So if you have a really long list of everything that you want from the business and you do it early going into the business saying, this is the whole point of me doing this thing, then when you're feeling frustrated or you're feeling depleted or burnt out and somebody asks, you say, hey, I'm really bummed about my business, and someone says, why? You can say, oh, because it's not giving me this, and it's not giving me this, and it's not giving me this. And when you can do that, then the rest of what we're going to be talking about today, you can then use to fix. You can say, oh, that's the problem. Here's the diagnosis. Here's the solution. On we go. And then business just becomes a lifelong process of, here are the new set of problems. We clearly understand what they are. Let me fix them. Okay, we fix those. Now we have new problems. Let me fix those. Now we have new problems. Let me fix those. And that's that's business. That will never go away. You're never going to get to a point where there's not some new problem. And having that accurate understanding of why it's a problem will then help you to more quickly fix it. It's like taking a car into a shop. As soon as they diagnose what's wrong, it's okay, here's what we need to do to fix it. Great, cool, done. But it's the whole like not knowing and why isn't it and the fear and the anxiety, and that's what causes so many problems. Again, if the offer doesn't give you what you want, you're not going to sell it. You're not going to be good enough to sell it, because you as a person will be depleted. Subconsciously, you'll be like, why am I even doing this? What even is the point? You cannot out-convince or outwork your subconscious. That's so important. If you aren't in it, you aren't in it. And in this industry, again, if we were in a different industry, I'd be talking about something. In this industry, your own conviction about what you are doing is the most powerful sales tool you will ever have. It is more powerful than any marketing strategy that anyone teaches, and I teach marketing strategies for a living, so I know what I'm talking about when I say this. Conviction is, and we could do a whole series on conviction and why you need to start there before you start any marketing or sales. So just like we talked about story first, then offer, conviction first, then sales and marketing strategies. Okay, so that's important. And when you have an offer that gives you what you want, it's so easy to have conviction. It's so easy. It comes naturally. You don't have to convince yourself. And that's great because you can't trick your subconscious. Your subconscious is way smarter than any tricks any YouTube video on how to overcome procrastination. No, start with conviction. All right. So with all of this said, okay, let's assume that you've gone through and you've written out everything that you want. Let me now walk you through all of the different offer types and what they will give you so that you can know and deploy these different offers into your world and against your story. And we'll talk about that here in a second, so that you can create an offer that gives you what you want. All right. So first, let's talk about one of the most important things in business, and that is margin. Okay. So if on your list is money, and a lot of it, and you want to make that money and a lot of money without having to deal with a lot of people, right? You don't want thousands of customers. Then in order to get lots of money with very few transactions, let's say also you're really not into selling a bunch. You don't want to spend all day marketing and selling. That means by definition, you need to not have a business where you have to sell all the time, right? People who hate selling and then they sell their stuff for $200 and when they want to make $30,000 a month in profit, I'm sorry, but all you're going to be doing all day is selling. To move that many $200 units, that's all you're going to do for a living is just sell. But so the key then, the opposite of that, is to have really big margins, to have a bunch of money left over every transaction that you can scoop in big amounts of profit. Okay, this is something you just design. If this is what you want, you just make the decision and design it this way. How do you do that? That is, margin comes from high ticket offers, premium offers, $5,000, $10,000, $100,000 offers. There's not a marketing secret that makes a $200 thing have big margins. It's an offer decision. If you want to have a lot of money left over, that comes from the decision you have made about what kind of offer you're going to run out. It's not about getting better at selling. It's not about a secret marketing hack. Those things don't create the kind of margin that you're wanting. So this is coaching offers, done for you offers, big consulting packages. If your list is, I want a bunch of money, it's not going to happen unless you have high ticket in this particular industry. Again, in this particular industry. So that's the first sort of area to start taking a look at. So let's say that you have a story, right? And let's say your story is you worked in a corporate job for years and years, but you always dreamt of making your living with your hands in the soil. And so you finally figured out how to start an apple orchard on somebody else's land, how to rent the land, but start an apple orchard, and it replaced your like nice, cushy, white collar job, and you're making like $80,000 a year in profit from your orchard, and you're just loving life. Okay. That's your thing. That's you at the top of the ladder. There's a ton of people at the bottom of the ladder who are like, yes, please get me out of this cubicle. I want to go make money, being outside. Okay. So you're going to help people up that ladder. Now, if you, as the business owner, want to be paid very well, lots of margin, lots of take home, and you don't want to have to work with a ton of people selling all day long, the strategic offer decision you must make is that you will have a high ticket offer helping people up the ladder. Coaching program, $6,800, whatever the pricing ends up being. And by the way, if you need help with all of this, that's what we do here at Peaceful Profits. You can go peacefulprofits.com/call, have a call with us. We'd love to help you. But that is exactly the decision you make. There's no marketing decision here that will help to make that outcome for you. All right, so that's an example. Now let's say also on your list, you say, I love big margin and that's wonderful, but I really want to run a business that doesn't have big financial ups and downs. I don't want to have to start each month from zero and be like, I don't know how much money I'm going to make this month. Let's say you also want to hire a team. Guess what team costs monthly? Okay. They send you their invoice every month, or they're an employee. They want a paycheck every 2 weeks. Guess what? It doesn't matter how the business is doing. They're going to send the invoices. They're going to need the payment every 2 weeks. So if your plan is to ride off into the sunset, you're going to need a team. Maybe not a huge team. Artificial intelligence isn't here yet, and I don't think it's going to be for a very long time to where it can do all the work for you. If you believe that push button profits are possible, I have some oceanfront property in Arizona I'd like to sell you. I have a bridge somewhere, and whatever all those sayings are, you're falling for shenanigans if you believe that a real business can be push button without having team members. So if on your list is, I want to work 1 hour a week, wonderful. If that's what your business needs, fantastic. Now you just need to go make a business that does that. And in order to do that, you're going to need some help from someone. And that someone is going to need to get paid consistently. So the problem with a high ticket coaching program is what? People pay once, big one. Let's say you do have a $100,000 done for you funnel service. Okay, they pay the $100,000. You got paid once. And how often do your team members need to get paid? How often do your bills need to get paid? Forget thinking about team for a second. How often does the mortgage need to get paid? At least once a month, right? So if you have recurring bills, what should you have in your business? Recurring income. And it should match or exceed whatever your bills are. Here's the smartest way to build a company. Establish recurring income first, then hire. Here's the most stressful way I can possibly imagine running a business. Hire first and then put recurring income in. I don't want to make light of anyone who has very serious health issues. So please understand, I am not joking when I say, if you would like to create something that gives you cancer, I'm not joking. This is not a joke. If you would like to create something that gives you cancer, hire a team without having recurring income. Increase your bills, your recurring bills. Move into a bigger house with a bigger mortgage without recurring income in your business. That's not a joke. So if on your list is financial peace of mind, not just lots of money or a specific amount of money, but you'd like that money to be not stressful, you can do that. And guess what? It isn't marketing and selling. That's not what the problem is. The problem is that you haven't addressed that specific need with an offer. Now, Hormozi invested in school, and now everyone is the answer to recurring income is a low ticket membership model. Look, low ticket memberships are stressful. They're difficult. There's a big recurring membership woman who's like very famous right now. Most of her emails right now to her list are like, I'm burnt out and stressed. Yeah, no kidding. Because when somebody pays you $30 a month, they expect $10,000 a month. And in order to make enough money on $30 a month, you have to have thousands of people, and they all have demands. Now, I'm not saying don't do a recurring low ticket membership. We have one. We have the newsletter. I love it. But just don't buy into the hype that somehow the only recurring income is some low ticket school community. I'm not even knocking school. We're currently looking at using it. Okay. So, and I'm not anti-Hormozi or anything like that. Sometimes you have to take a beat, realize that hype can distract, and you can think that the only answer is this one thing, and that's not the right answer for you. Now, if you want to run a membership and one of the things you love doing is interacting with lots of people, fantastic. Do it. Go for it. Know thyself so that you can build a business that will what? Give you what you want. One of the most interesting arguments I've ever heard for low ticket memberships is that there are people that this particular individual, I won't name any names, but this particular individual wanted to start a low ticket membership because they're like, I just want to have tons and tons of friends. And I was like, that's a great way. You're going to have to deal with a lot of customer service nightmares, and you're going to realize that you're going to be constantly creating a portion of people who really don't like you, because that's just the nature of low end transactions. They're not the best customers. But I thought that's a wonderful idea. Now she has a bunch of people in her membership, monthly membership. I think it's $95 a month or something. And she has lots and lots of friends and lots of fans, and she's super happy. And she hired someone to deal with the customer service issues. Why? Because she had recurring income. And look, this is the thing. That's a perfect example of understanding what you want. Guess what she didn't want to do? She didn't want any negativity in her life. And so what did she do? She hired someone to deal with it. She put someone who loved solving customer support challenges in her business, was able to pay that person really well. Why? Because she had the recurring income to be able to pay that person without any stress. These are not sales and marketing decisions. These are offer design decisions. So let's go back to our example. Now, memberships are not the only way, I should say. I actually prefer, before going low ticket membership, I absolutely prefer exploring all the different ways that you can add continuity and recurring income at a high ticket level. $3,000, $5,000, $1,000 a month, something like that. Why do I like that personally? Remember, personally on my list is I want to make as much money as possible dealing with as few people as possible, because I don't want to have to go constantly be selling constantly. If you have a low ticket membership, You have to constantly be selling. Because everyone says, if I just charge them $30 a month, they'll stay with me forever. No, they won't. They won't. They'll drop off at month 3, month 5, whatever, and it'll be the same churn rate as $3,000 a month. And unless you, that's just one of those things where when you're a grizzled old cranky guy like me who's been doing this for a long time, you've seen it enough and you know that it's true. If you haven't, there's probably a part of you that doesn't believe it and you're like, no, that's not how it works. I hope that you go test it. And I think what you'll find is that whether they're paying $3,000 a month or $30 a month, to that buyer, it's the same thing. Because the people who buy $30 a month don't necessarily buy $3,000. Anyways, there's a whole thing. In fact, I have a 10-hour course where I talk about recurring income and continuity and how to create it and how to reduce churn and all this kind of stuff. I think it's called Continuity in a Weekend or something like that. I don't even know if we sell it right now, but I made it one time. So we could go on a tangent on recurring income. But the point is, I prefer high ticket recurring income, way more than I prefer low ticket recurring revenue. It's just easier to do. And I like easy because I'll do it. Frankly, if it's easier to do, I'm more likely to actually do it. Okay. But that doesn't mean we don't have low ticket recurring. Like I said, we have a $95 a month recurring income thing that we do ourselves, and we're actually trying to expand it. But let's say, for example, that and actually, let me jump back there. There's a very specific reason that we're expanding this $95 a month thing, right? Because on our list of what do we want as a company, because that's the size that we're at a size now where I'm not the only person who gets to make the list of things I want. The company can have its own list. There's something that low ticket memberships do give, and that is a great opportunity to incubate future clients. So you can get a lot of people in a low ticket membership with the goal of getting them to ascend to high ticket recurring revenue, which is what we're doing. Okay. So again, that's not a marketing and sales thing. That's an offer creation. We realized we wanted a certain type of thing and we're doing it, but we're not doing it necessarily because we're trying to replace all recurring income at $95 a pop. Our expenses are really high. It would be very difficult to cover all of our expenses at $95 a pop. We have a very big team. Okay. A big and expensive team too, because we like to hire good people. All right. So anyways, back to this example. Recurring income. Let's say I wanted to add a recurring income offer. So I have my story. I was a corporate cog. Now I am happily living my life as an apple farmer. I have a coaching program, but I like the margin. I like making high ticket sales, but I would like to add some more consistent income. So now I'm going to have consistent income to cover all my expenses, and I'm going to have this high ticket margin. So I'm going to have big, juicy sort of bursts of income. I know they're not going to be necessarily as consistent as I'd like, but that's okay because the consistency is coming from, let's say I've got a $50 a month seed package thing or something, whatever it is, right? I'd sit down and make some plans and figure it out. And how does this help the person at the bottom of the rung get to the next level? For $50 a month, I'll just send you the seeds. You don't even have to worry about what type of apples to grow. Maybe with those seeds, I'll also give you some fertilizer that comes with it and et cetera, whatever it is, right? But that helps you go up the ladder to become an apple farmer yourself. It's just another tool that I'm going to give you to help you live the story that I have lived. You see now you can add more than one recurring. Okay, maybe one is the seeds, then maybe another one is a fertilizer. And maybe another one is like a planting calendar, and maybe not. So this is what I say, get the story first. Now we're in part 3, understanding the strategy behind the different offer types. And then you can start just adding on revenue streams without having to change your story, without having to start new businesses, without having to be all over the place. And you're just adding another way to help someone climb up that ladder. Okay, now let's say you really want to scale. Okay, and you're like, I love all this. I'm going to start using paid ads. And let's say you're running paid ads to sell high ticket or whatever you're trying to sell, even trying to sell recurring, low ticket recurring income, ads are expensive. They're really expensive. And by the way, ads are the way to scale. Okay, organic's lovely, but without ads, it's going to be slow, unpredictable, and there are very few people who are good enough at organic for it to actually work. It's something that nobody in the industry is talking about right now, because they want you to believe everybody can be an amazing content producer. I'm telling you, 17 years in this business, operating at the highest levels, working with people like Tony Robbins, Mel Robbins. We've done stuff with Success Magazine, etc. Like when you get up into those upper echelons of talent and who can actually be good on camera and who actually produces good content, there is a difference. There is a reason beyond just the fact that they're spending $40,000 plus a month that Alex Hormozi is so popular. Gary Vaynerchuk, Grant Cardone, like these are great performers. They are presenters. They are the P.T. Barnums. Okay, there is a wide gap between the top percent of those individuals and everybody else. I consider myself in the everybody else crowd. So that's important to understand, because what it means is, by definition, if you plan on scaling, you're going to have to use paid traffic. But paid traffic is expensive. And by the way, I'm not saying don't make content. I'm making content. I'm not saying you can't be Hormozi. Please don't take it that way. I'm just saying that even those guys use paid traffic. And the chance of you or me being one of those guys or gals and having that skill level, being a Mel Robbins, it's not high. And even they, with that advantage, are still using paid traffic. So just assume that at some point in your business, regardless of what skill you have or don't have, you're going to have to use paid traffic at some point if you want to scale. And scale is important if you're looking at really strong financial numbers. You want to really make some money. You want some intergenerational wealth. My wife and I talk about how we're constantly changing the story of our names, our last names. We're trying to change the trajectory. That takes a lot of money to do so, like a lot. And so you're going to need scale. Ads are expensive. They are darn near super expensive. And selling from ads is difficult, because you're talking about selling to strangers, people who have no idea who you are. And you need them to close because you just spent a bunch of money to talk to them. Luckily, and everyone's, it's a sales and marketing. You just need a better VSL. You just need to be better at selling. And look, that is true. It's helpful if you're better, but you can just make an offer decision and you won't have to worry about any of that stuff. If you're looking to offset costs and pre-sell prospects, let's say on your list of to-do, you're like, I want to tap into ads, but I don't want to lose a bunch of money. And I want to sell, but I don't want to have to sell to ice cold people. I want people pre-sold coming to me. That is the purpose of a low ticket offer, like a book. You take a book, you bundle it with some order bumps and upsells, you throw paid traffic on that thing, sell 30, 50 copies a day. If the book is good, what do you think is going to happen? People are going to read it. They're going to love it. They're going to be convinced that you're the person to help them. And remember, what do we put in the book? What's the book about? The book is about the story. This awesome thing that we did. And let me show you how I did it. And isn't it really cool? And then throughout the book, you say something like, hey, if you want me to help you climb this ladder, give me a call. You put paid traffic behind that. The sales of the book offset the cost of the ads. And the book itself does the heavy lifting in selling for you. This, by the way, is 90% of what we do here at Peaceful Profits, is helping people to write those books, get those books out there, get those books selling so that they can scale, so they can have offset ad costs. And by the way, if you don't know what offset is, that's okay. It just means that for every $1 that you spend on ads, you get back 50 cents, 75 cents, $1. but from the sales of the book. So the book covers the costs. And then those people who buy the book, now they're on your email list. They're super fans. You send them some emails and say, hey, I've got this continuity offer. Or, hey, I've got this low ticket membership. Or, hey, I've got this high ticket thing. Now we are in a business that is giving us what we want. It's so important that you plan for the lifestyle that you want. Otherwise, and you ask that very important question. Remember what I say at the start of this? The most important question when creating offers is, what do you want? If you do not plan in advance for what you want, I will tell you what will happen. Jim Rohn said it best. He says, if you don't have a plan for yourself, you're going to live other people's plans that they have for you. And guess what they have planned for you? Not much. That is such a powerful concept. If you do not make a plan for yourself, you will be living the plans that other people have for you. And I'm telling you from personal experience, other people don't have much planned for you. Certainly not something you'd be excited for most of the time. So you have to plan for the lifestyle you want in advance. Otherwise, you aren't going to keep building the business. You'll jump from shiny object to shiny object. You'll always be looking for an exit. And you'll jump from idea to idea and you'll blame everything except, and this is so important, this is not some problem that's within you. This is human nature. You will jump from idea to idea and blame everything except the thing that's causing the problem, which is the fact that the offer you are trying to make money from isn't the offer you should be trying to sell, because the offer you're trying to make money from isn't the offer that's going to give you what you're trying to get. So let's recap this, because there's a lot here. Again, one of the offers that we have is we help people like come up with these offers in their business and then go sell them. So awesome that we got to spend almost an hour together here today. Please don't just listen to this and say, it's done, I did the work. No, we haven't even started the actual work, right? So you got to sit down, you got to design, you got to figure out what it is. Is it going to sell? All of those things are still important aspects of offer creation. What we focused on today was making sure that you don't start any of that other stuff until you know what the heck it is you want. Otherwise, you're going to be designing a business you won't want to run in 6 months, a year, etc. So first, figure out, what do I want? Then use recurring income, continuity, big margins, high ticket, low volume, high ticket. You want to offset costs, pre-sale prospects. Start using offer decisions to start knocking items off of that list, so that your business, while it won't be able to give you everything on your list, it will be able to give you enough of those things that you, as the business owner, the most important person in the business, you, the business owner, you will be able to show up when you need to show up. You'll have the energy to sell it or to inspire others to sell it for you. And you will have the ability, because of motivation, passion, interest, because you are getting your own well filled up by the business, so you're not having to pull from an empty tank, that you will be able to show up and do what it takes to actually make money. Because remember, money requires energy. It requires work and focus and all of that stuff. And so if you don't have a loop where you put some in and you get more back, you're just not going to have what it takes. And not because of skill, not because of for lack of trying, you'll just be burnt to a crisp. That's it, my friends, for today. We have one more part of this series, which we're going to very briefly talk about traffic and what kinds of traffic to really start thinking about. I hope you've enjoyed this series. I've certainly enjoyed making it. I'm probably going to do a bunch more of these over the next couple of weeks and months. It's just so important to me. One of the core missions here at Peaceful Profits is that we help people build businesses that they're going to run for more than a couple months, to put it bluntly. Like, there's a reason we are called Peaceful Profits and not get all the money you can at the expense of everything else. The good news is you don't have to have either or. It's not make a bunch of money or be happy. That hasn't been true for a very long time. What is true, though, is that your business is simply the consequences of the choices you've made, and you need to make better choices if you want certain things. You need to make the choices that will lead to, the consequences of those choices will lead to the outcomes that you desire. And of course, if you want help in doing anything that we've talked about here, please go to peacefulprofits.com/call. We would love to help you. You can also email us at successteam@peacefulprofits.com. We ourselves have lots of different offers because this is my ladder. I have tried it the other way. Okay. When I tell you these things, I'm not just pulling this stuff out of my backside. I'm telling you, I have been burnt, crispy, fried. I have been in the depths. I know what it is like to run the wrong business. I know what it's like to have the wrong offers. And so what we like to do is we like to try to help people. We're up here on the top of the ladder. If you're down there looking up the ladder, I want to climb up this thing as quick as possible. I'd like to not be in the current state that I am, which when I was in that state, I was like ready every minute to be out of it. We can help you to do that. Okay. Again, peacefulprofits.com/call. Again, tomorrow we're going to be talking about how to pick the right traffic for your offer. I hope you'll tune in and join us then. Otherwise, we'll talk to you later.